When I talk about makeup news, I'm very demure, very mindful. I don't talk crap about influencers and celebrities and brands. I'm very cutesy. I'm very mindful about the choices of the words that I use. If you've been online over the past month or so, you have probably heard somebody using some version of those words to make some kind of silly point that is almost opposite of what they actually mean. It's just like any other trend that we have seen come and go. There's someone that does a thing and then people jump on it and it is everywhere before it slowly disappears. But the person who created that viral moment does have a chance to capitalize on all of the eyes on them. And this time it is Jools Lebron. In the original video, she's talking about how she does her makeup and in a very demure, mindful way. And of course, she has the winged liner and the bold blush and everything. It's just very cute. And when celebrities started making their own demure and mindful videos, you know how there's ambulance chasers who look for people's misfortune and try to capitalize off of it? Yeah, apparently there's social media chasers that do a similar thing where they look at a viral moment and then they try to steal that moment monetarily from the person who made it popular. And that's what happened to Jools. Someone's tried to trademark Jools's demure and mindful words in order to capitalize on it. And the story we're going to be talking about today is what are the chances that this person will be able to take this from Jools? And what exactly is happening behind the scenes? What does this person want? What can Jools do? What are her rights? I have all of the details for you on that. I also have a ton more stories for you today, including Paris Hilton and the desire to be beautiful being capitalized on by a smoothie company. L'Occitane apologized to a K-pop star because one of their employees decided to do some shady business over on their personal Instagram. I have the story on that. And one skincare brand I personally believe is taking AI way too far. I think it's super messed up, but you know, we're all allowed to have different opinions here. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this story. I have a total of 11 stories to share with you today that I felt like were interesting and relevant and important in our beauty space. So if you were interested in any of the stories I mentioned or other stories, other things that are happening in our space, hang tight. We're about to get into it right now. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that happened across the beauty and cosmetics industries all in one place. I have done all of the research for you and I've compiled it so that you can stay in the know about what's happening. If you are new here, if this is the first video you've seen of mine, hi, my name is Jen. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I hope that you enjoy the show. And if you do, please consider subscribing so that my videos are automatically pushed into your subscription feed, because you can't trust YouTube to show you what you actually want to see. If you want to have control, make sure you subscribe to your favorite channels. And with that being said, let's talk about what's going on with Jools. Today, we're starting off with legal news. As a kid who grew up in the 80s and 90s, it is amazing to me how somebody can just film a video in their car and the next day they're on all of the major news networks. It's incredible. I mean, I remember sitting reading my Teen Beat magazines and thinking there's no way I could ever be in a magazine like this. It's not possible. And now really anything's possible. But the thing about viral videos is that some of them turn people into celebrities for good reasons and others for bad reasons. Today, we're talking about a good reason with Jools Lebron. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the original video that went viral that celebrities immediately started copying.
You see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't come to work with a green cut crease. I don't look like a clown when I go to work. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. see how I look very presentable? The way I came to the interview is the way I go to the job. A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma. Not Demure. I'm very modest. I'm very mindful. You see my shirt? Only a little chichi out, not my chocho. Be mindful of why they hired you. Here's your reality check, diva. What's the name you'd like me to make it out to?
When I say copying, I mean they were using it for inspiration. They were using the sound. They were using the words in order to create their own content. It wasn't a way to steal anything from Jools. It was a way to compliment her, to lift her up. And I will tell you, last time I looked, Jools' video has 52 million views over on TikTok, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And this is possibly due to the over 100,000 people that have used her voice as a sound for their own content. So many celebrities, from Eva Longoria to Jennifer Lopez to Meghan Trainor to Neil deGrasse Tyson. There was even a post on the White House's Instagram that gave a nod to Jools. Just mind-blowing. Brands are also jumping in on this. Brands like Rare Beauty used it to promote their liquid blushes. The Buffalo Bills, an American football team, used it in order to kind of narrate their players going in to go play a game. I mean, just everybody. The freaking Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon and The Tonight Show did a skit with Demi Moore, and instead of saying Demure, she said very Demi Moore. I can go on, but the point is that Jools did a thing. She absolutely did a thing. Jools has even said publicly that the revenue that she's earning off of sponsorships and the revenue off of the video itself are helping her to fund the rest of her transition, and she is just so thankful.
Because one day I was playing cashier and making videos on my break, and now I'm flying across country to host events, and I'm going to be able to finance the rest of my transition. I finally said it without crying.
So of course, because this is a very viral moment, because Jools has made this saying famous, she wants to trademark very demure, very mindful to use in advertising. So when she gets a deal with a company like Zillow, which she did, she can use demure and mindful as part of that advertisement if she owns that trademark.
Divas, I am in New York with Zillow as their chief demure officer, and I'm going to show you how to tour some Zillow listings in a very demure way.
But there is a man who is trying to take that from her. His name is Jefferson Bates, and there was an article in the Fashion Law about it this past week. I know that this has been going on for a while, but I was kind of waiting for a professional source to weigh in on the legal aspect of this before I covered it. And thankfully, the Fashion Law did just that and talked about what Jefferson is trying to do and what are his chances of taking this trademark from her. As I was thinking about this, I was trying to relate it to my personal life. And the way that I would imagine this is like, let's say you go to the gas station and you buy a lottery ticket and you win $1 million, and you're standing there and you're holding the ticket. You haven't cashed in for the $1 million yet, but you're holding the ticket. You know you've won, and somebody just comes up and steals that ticket from you and goes to try to cash it in right in front of you. That's what I imagine is the feeling of what's happening with Jools. But this is the thing. The US has some pretty messed up laws. There are a lot of laws that are unfair, things that just aren't fleshed out. There's lots of laws with loopholes and things that we could do better as a country in our legal system. But trademark law has something very special that I think really does protect people like Jools. And we've talked about it before on What's Up in Makeup. It is a clause called first to use in commerce. So even if Jefferson technically files the trademark first, if Jools can prove that she made money by advertising using this slogan, she has a case against blocking his trademark. Beyond that, he only filed a trademark for advertising. He didn't file it for makeup or for merch or for anything like that. It's just for advertising. So technically, even if he was able to take this trademark when it comes to advertising, she might still be able to make clothing and makeup and things like that with the slogan on it. So really what she's fighting for is the ability to use that trademark in advertising. Jools has said that she's hired lawyers and they're helping her sort all of this out. She seems really happy about that. So I personally think that she has a very good case to beat Jefferson out of this. And what really pissed me off that was in this Fashion Law article is that Jefferson has a history of trying to do this to other people. He's essentially a trademark troll. He finds situations like this, similar to an ambulance chaser, and he tries to steal the moment away from people. It's absolutely disgusting behavior. So thankfully, with the help of Jools' lawyers, hopefully this will be settled in a very demure, very cutesy, very mindful way, and a very fair way as well. I do want to mention one other thing about this story is that there is some debate about whether Jools was the first person to use the words demure and mindful in content, but I am not an expert on that, and it's an extremely nuanced conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point you toward a video by a trans creator named Kat Black. She's amazing. I've been watching her for years. She really breaks down that piece. So I would definitely recommend watching that if you're looking for a more in-depth, nuanced approach to the topic as a whole. It'll be linked down below. It is very rare in the cosmetic industry when a legitimate new ingredient is introduced to the market, especially one that people are familiar with. I mean, every once in a while we'll get some kind of new algae that is just starting to be used in cosmetics, or some kind of obscure plant that they've found, but people aren't familiar with it. So it doesn't necessarily equate to being a marketing tool to have this new ingredient. But when CBD and CBG hit the market, oh my gosh, do you remember freaking every makeup product, every skincare product had CBD or CBG in it, and they all had the leaf on it, and it was everywhere. It was in mascaras and blushes and eyeshadows, and like, I kind of got how people were trying to put it in like skincare that maybe would have some kind of topical benefit, but the makeup thing I never quite understood. And one thing you may notice is that the use of CBD and CBG in marketing, in cosmetics in general, has decreased significantly over the past few years. I think part of the reason is because people realize that there literally was no benefit to having CBD and CBG in any of these products. People weren't really seeing any difference or any reason to have them. And I also think the other reason is that formulating products with this particular ingredient is very tricky, because if for some reason THC at more than the most minuscule amount gets into these CBD products by accident, and they're tested and found to have too much THC in them, the government can literally charge these cosmetic brands with drug trafficking if they sell it to places where THC is illegal. Like, in order for this business to actually have been a viable path for profit, it would have had to really resonate with the customer in order to make the risk worth it. To be fair, there are people that use CBD for treatment of things like arthritis, in ingestibles, things like anxiety, and people find success with it. But again, companies need to be super careful in their marketing, not just of these products, but of other products that have medical claims. They can't actually claim anything medical, because if they do, if they say that the CBD lowers inflammation in the body, then that is technically a drug, because it changes the way that the body functions. And if they do that, they have to go through a totally different process with the US FDA in order to get drug facts on their products. So if it's just a regular over-the-counter product, they really have to be careful about the claims that they make, and that's what's happening in this story. The FDA is stepping in with several CBD oil and supplement companies. There was a warning letter specifically sent to Root Bioscience Brands LLC for their ridiculous claims on these products. According to the FDA, they said that their skincare products help with health issues spanning from concussions to cancer to autism. You can't do that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the FDA has struck down the brand's website at this point to stop them from selling their skincare products, as well as what the FDA calls unapproved new animal drugs, including extract oils for pets. So people a lot of times will shit on the FDA and say that they're not doing enough, but they are doing things. They are doing things. And I think this is also a warning just for us as consumers. You know, there's lots of different kind of off brands that we've never heard of being sold on Amazon and different places like Temu and you know, these places where we really don't know what's in this stuff. So please just be careful out there, especially if there's any claims to this off brand of doing something to change the function of your body. If they're doing that and they're selling it in the US and it's technically illegal, and if they're breaking those kinds of US laws, they may not be being careful of what they're actually putting in the product. So just be safe out there. In other news, let's talk a little bit of marketing. You know, it's really easy to get lost in cosmetics and in the beauty space in general because there's just so many companies that are trying to get our attention, trying to get our money. And one of the biggest ways, one of the easiest ways for brands to get customers' attention is to use a celebrity. It's one of the oldest marketing tricks in the book is to have a celebrity endorser. And I personally feel like it works the best when people really have a positive image of that celebrity as being trendy or cool. And one of the trendiest, coolest celebrities for decades has been Paris Hilton. No matter how you feel about her as a person, you cannot deny her celebrity status. So when Paris endorses something, chances are that's going to lead to some sales, especially when it has to do with beauty. She has now collaborated with Joe and the Juice for a beauty drink. Yes, it is a pink drink that is supposed to make you more beautiful. The magic ingredient, can you guess what it is? It's collagen, of course. Of course there's collagen in it, which there is some science behind ingestible collagen, but just one of these drinks is probably not going to be the magic thing for you, just saying. It is also a cross promotion of Paris's new album called Infinite Icon that also dropped last week. Paris said in a statement about the collaboration, "I can't wait for my fans to taste and feel the vibe that we've crafted together." The drink actually sounds pretty delicious to me. It is made with strawberries, pineapple, apple, Vita cocoa, coconut water, pitaya, and of course the collagen to, quote, keep your skin looking hot, plus a boost in protein that will have you glowing from the inside out. Try it and get ready to enter your hashtag Infinite Icon era. That's what it says on Instagram. So prices for the drink do vary depending on location, but they don't seem to vary by much. It's within $1. And it looks like this drink, which will be on the screen for you, will run you between $14 and $15 for one drink. And if you would like to add a little extra to it, similar to like Starbucks when you add something, let's say you want to add a little bit of ginger to it, let's say you want to add a little lemon to it, that drink's going to run you $17. I will not be making the drive to get one myself. I don't have a Joe and the Juice near me, but I will not be getting this one. But if you decide to get one, I am not going to shame you, and I would love if you would come back and tell me how it was and if you think that it was worth it. But more importantly, did it make you hot? Like we were just talking about in the Paris Hilton story, we know that having a celebrity endorser can increase sales of a product. Absolutely. And having a K-pop star in your advertising in the Asian market is like a huge, huge win. And that's what L'Occitane was going for. I did have a person recently tell me that I was pronouncing L'Occitane wrong. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that I learned how to pronounce L'Occitane from the brand, from a debacle we had many, many years ago. Here is saying it properly, so don't come for me.
Welcome to L'Occitane. Welcome to L'Occitane. Yes. Yay.
Thank you for calling L'Occitane. This is Colton. How may I assist your call?
Team meeting. It's actually L'Occitane.
Anyway, back in May, L'Occitane hired K-pop star Mingyu from the group 17 to be an ambassador for their Japanese and Korean arms of their company. As part of the campaign, he posed for some pictures and shot some video footage of him in the shower using some of their shower products. It just showed a little bit of his skin, but apparently a L'Occitane employee thought that wasn't enough. And what she decided to do was on the side there, over in the corner, she started taking some pictures with her cell phone of Mingyu, half naked. And then she decided she was going to post those on her Instagram. That was not a smart move on her part. Really super incredibly inappropriate. And unlike in the US, where I feel like we would be more on the yay, we got to see things side, people are much kinder and more protective of their celebrities in Japan and Korea. And the fans there freaked out and defended Mingyu and demanded that she take her pictures down. When they reposted the story, they actually blurred his body, like his back, calling him topless. Fans called this an invasion of his privacy and really strongly blamed L'Occitane for allowing this to happen with one of their employees. In response, L'Occitane, of course, immediately fired the employee and then released a statement saying, quote, "To prevent such incidents in the future, we will implement a comprehensive and regular training program for all employees. This program will emphasize the critical importance of respecting the copyrights, portrait rights, publicity rights, and privacy of our brand ambassador. We deeply regret the occurrence and accept full responsibility. Once again, we sincerely apologize to the artist and all the fans." And I absolutely love this because really and truly it was an invasion of his privacy. Like, I can see where from an American lens, some people may be like, oh, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but it wasn't right. They didn't have his permission. He's not wearing clothes. And in this day and age, when you're in a private, safe setting and everybody has a camera in their pocket, if you're taking pictures of somebody without their permission before posting on social media, we really should be asking people's permission, even celebrities. So I feel like this is a really great example of how we really should be moving as far as the way we're treating celebrities and their privacy. Being someone who is on the internet a lot, I see a lot of division. I see a lot of debate. I see a lot of angry words being thrown around, people on both sides of an issue. And artificial intelligence, I feel like, is one of those topics. But it seems like most people are very anti-artificial intelligence just in general. And I think a lot of that stems from, and I'm not going to judge whether it's rightfully stemming from or not, but I think it stems from a fear of the unknown, a fear of where this technology is going and how good it is getting quickly. It's the power that it currently has and what that could mean for the future. I think the scariest element of AI is the fact that there may be one day where we can look at something that's fake and it genuinely looks real. Like right now, we can tell when things are fake for the most part. Like, it's pretty easy to tell. I will admit I'm not very good at recognizing AI art. Not at all. But when it comes to people moving and stuff like that, I can usually typically tell. But it may not be like that for very long. And it's only a matter of time before companies start using AI in order to increase their marketing and their ability to sell you things in a way that's a bit shady. And that's what we're talking about in the story. Skincare brand RéVive is using AI now in their marketing. They've partnered with a company called Perfect Corp to showcase before and after results of their products. Those are strong air quotes because they're not real. They're not actual before and after photos. They're generated with artificial intelligence. So what they're doing is they're looking at their clinical trial data and then applying it to an AI model. They say that this allows them to be more diverse in their marketing because they can pick any person of any skin tone, any age, because they're not real people. They can just have unlimited access to all kinds of people, or they could just, hire people. But I digress. They are touting this technology as an industry-first way to leverage the brand's skincare clinical trial data, and that will take beauty marketing to the next level. The CEO of RéVive said in a statement, quote, "Together with Perfect Corp, we have found an innovative way to marry AI technology and model imagery to make our clinical data more accessible for consumers visually. Shoppers who are looking to invest in our products can now distinctly see the differences that our products have the potential to make on the skin prior to purchase. So they claim that the photos vividly illustrate the tangible transformative benefits of their skincare's innovative products. The images will launch on the brand's website and select retail partners' websites this month, and I hate this. You know, all this does is it shortcuts things for the brands and potentially makes it inaccurate. So what I'm wondering is, why aren't they doing this on real people? If their skincare genuinely does this, why don't they do it on real people? And all I can think of is, number one, it's faster to just generate it. And the other thing is that these are potential results. That doesn't mean that this is actually going to happen on people. Like, maybe this is what's happening in a petri dish based on scientific patterns and things. Like when you use an antioxidant, it can help to encourage collagen production. And maybe they know that, that science says that this thing can happen. And then they just enhance the results with AI based on not something that happened with real humans. And I think this is super misleading because people that maybe aren't paying much attention to the advertisement, maybe they're just glancing at it, maybe they think that this is real. Personally, in my opinion, I feel like this is the perfect example of deceptive marketing. This should be illegal, in my opinion. But of course, I don't know. Maybe there's another opinion on this. I would love to know if you are pro this, if you think this is a good idea. Like, I would love to know what your thoughts are, because maybe it's something I haven't thought of, but I hate this. I hate this with my entire soul. I don't know what the heck they're thinking. Actually, I do know what they're thinking. They're thinking about money. And they're thinking about trying to do something in a different kind of way. But it's really deceptive to me. I absolutely hate it. Today in business news, we're talking once again about inclusive beauty. And I know we've talked about this a lot lately, but I found this article that I found very interesting to kind of add to the conversation. A lot of us are on the same page when it comes to brands being more inclusive, but there are definitely people in my comment section that just don't understand and they're not on board with the concept of inclusive beauty. They talk about how shades on the very light end and very deep end won't sell. So why would brands pay the money to create them when they don't sell? And if you don't know the back end of the industry, I can understand that perspective. But factually, based on actual sales, this is kind of wrong because it goes beyond just creating shades and tones of products that work for everyone. It goes toward just the brand vibe, the brand feel as a whole across platforms. New research was conducted by Circana and the CME Index, and they found that beauty brands that are more inclusive are growing faster than less inclusive brands. Factors included in the CME Index are things beyond skin tone, things like gender expression, age, observed sexual orientation, body size, and visible disability. A new report analyzed the point of sale growth rates of 40 different beauty brands, comparing companies who are deemed on a scale of inclusive to less inclusive. Then they took that and they integrated it into Circana's beauty sales data from leading US beauty, general merchandise, and mass retailers during that same period. The study showed that brands like MAC, Dove, L'Oreal, Maybelline, NYX Cosmetics, Fenty, and Estee Lauder showed an 18% collective growth rate compared to 12% or less for less inclusive brands. Senior Vice President of Circana said in a statement, quote, "The beauty industry plays a significant role in driving inclusivity, and today's customers want to be truly seen by the brands they support. Our research with the CME Index highlights the importance of genuine inclusivity from both a human and a business perspective. The data is clear. Beauty brands that are inclusive at every level grow faster, and inclusivity is a key component for business success." Then she continued, this is very interesting. "Our findings show that the most successful brands embed inclusivity into their ads, product positioning, and external commitments, not just during special months, but year round." And I think that's the key. Customers can easily distinguish between brands that talk about inclusivity and those that genuinely embody it. So the next time somebody says that inclusivity doesn't matter, they're factually wrong, at least according to this study. If you aren't familiar with the story of Bobbi Brown, the person, and what she has been through in the makeup space, it is a very interesting story. So you may have heard of Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, which of course is her namesake brand. She started that brand in the early 90s and sold it to Estee Lauder in 1995. But what she did, which she says that she regrets, is that she signed a 25-year non-compete contract with her brand and with Estee Lauder, and that hemmed her up for a really long time. So she actually left her brand in 2016 and disassociated from them and started working on her own project. And in 2020, when that 25 years was up, 2 days later, she started Jones Road Beauty, and she said she would have started it the next day, but it was a Sunday, so she waited till Monday to start Jones Road. And Jones Road is crushing it. It's absolutely crushing it, and she is on track to have brought Jones Road Beauty to be her second built billion-dollar brand. And Jones Road Beauty initially, supposedly, was self-funded. They reportedly made $20 million in their first year, and they are forecasted to achieve a $150 million revenue in 2024. And of course, $150 million is nowhere near $1 billion, but what they're looking at is brand valuation as a whole. And their CFO said that they are on their way there. According to the article linked down below, their number one seller, of course, is their Miracle Balm that accounts for 30% of all Jones Road sales. Have you tried Jones Road products? I will tell you, I really want to love Jones Road. They're target. I'm like the target demographic for this brand. But one thing I cannot get over is the smell of these products is so strong. The balm and the primary stuff, like I can't with the smell. It is too strong. It gives me a headache. So if they brought that scent down, I think that I would love the product so much more. But I would love to know your thoughts about Jones Road if you've tried it. Do you feel like they're on their way to being the next billion-dollar beauty brand? I'd love to know your thoughts. Over and over again, week after week, we're talking about how, as a whole, in the cosmetic industry, sales for makeup and skincare are down, and sales for fragrance are up. So in this kind of situation, would this be a good time to then invest in your fragrance arm of your company if you own one? Or is this a good time to sell because you're going to be able to get top dollar for that sale? It looks like Huda Beauty might be going for that second option with Kayali. It's been reported that she is looking for a buyer for that portion of her company. It was first reported by Bloomberg and follows the rebrand of the Huda Beauty brand as a whole. They got a new logo, new packaging, and all of that. And it also follows the closure of their line Glowish, which was their makeup skincare hybrid line. They closed that, I think it was earlier this year. The motivation seems to be if Huda is able to sell Kayali, then she might be looking to buy out her investors. And that would be huge for Huda Beauty. I mean, she seems to be somebody who really likes to do things in a certain way and wants to do it based on her passions and what she knows about the industry. But when you have investors, you can't really just do what you want. You have to consult your investors and you have to be able to agree on next steps for brands. And if she can buy out her investors, then I would imagine, based on what I've seen publicly about Huda, I think that she would really benefit from that. So it seems, according to the article, again, and you can read it, it's linked down below, that's what it sounds like she's trying to do. So Huda Beauty as a whole was valued at $1 billion at one point, and it is regularly named one of the top performing beauty brands on all of social media. So I can see why she wants to gain that control back. But the question is she sacrificing her potential moneymaker in building up Kayali as a brand in order to increase her profits as a whole? I don't know. I will just have to wait and see what happens. In our last story in business news, we're talking about clean beauty. And if you've been here for a while, you know my thoughts on clean beauty, that it's bullshit. I have an entire video talking about why clean beauty is bullshit. And there is no one that pushes it harder than one of my formerly one of my favorite actresses, Gwyneth Paltrow, and her brand Goop. I used to love her so much. I've said this before. I had a desert tortoise at one point that I named after her. That's how much I loved her. Shakespeare in Love, my fave. Anyway, Goop is one of those brands you either love or you have serious issues with them. They've been through all kinds of things, especially in the beauty space, as far as the choices that they've made. But nobody can deny that Goop is actually doing really well since they launched in 2008. Their beauty revenue was up 40% in 2023, and as of July 2024, it's reported to have an annual revenue of $75 million. But the tides might be turning for this brand because they have announced a significant restructuring in that they are cutting 18% of their workforce and pledging to focus on their strongest categories, which are fashion, beauty, and food, in their Goop Beauty and their Good Clean Goop beauty brands, as well as the G Label clothing line and the Goop Kitchen restaurants. Categories taking a huge hit, not surprising, are her wellness category, including the sexual wellness category, which has had many issues over the years. Her home category is also taking a hit, and the travel category. This means we will probably see fewer vagina eggs, fewer vagina candles, fewer coffee enema kits. Hopefully, these are real things that they came out with. So hopefully fewer of that. And darn. And in our lighthearted story this week, we're going to touch on a marketing campaign, a collaboration that we're going to talk more about in the product report tomorrow, and it is the e.l.f. and Tinder collaboration. Again, we'll talk more about the actual products tomorrow in the product report, but let's talk about the ad campaign here. Now, I'm not going to play the commercial like I normally do because really and truly and honestly, if you look back at e.l.f.'s ad campaigns in the past, the one they did with Liquid Death and the Cosmetic Criminals one, those things were freaking epic. They were so good. The one with Tinder is just kind of mid. The writing just isn't as good, and the hook just isn't as good as the past campaigns. I was actually kind of disappointed in it because my bar is so high for e.l.f., you know? But then in the Hunters group, and actually one of the Hunters recommended to put this in as the lighthearted story, and I totally agreed. They hired Gemma Collins, who is a television personality. She's a comedian. She's very famous in England. And what they did was they put her in a box with a mirror on the outside and a microphone, and they put her in the middle of a mall, and they had her just have people walk up to the mirror, and then she just complimented the heck out of them. It's super, super cute.
I'm claustrophobic in here, Elf. Help! So elfing gorgeous in here. Calling all you sassy, gorgeous people in the shopping centre. You gotta put your elf out there. Hello, can anyone hear me from the mirror? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? All right, Kai? I just want to let you know you're fit. Knock, knock.
Who's that?
The Queen, GC.
Hi,
Girls.
oh my God.
How are you? Come. Sorry, I was just having a prawn sandwich. Hi, God, you're gorgeous. Come closer to the mirror, darling. Looking absolutely on fire. Order yourself a Tinder box. You get a box lip trio. You deserve it. You look gorgeous. You've got all the elf makeup on. You're looking hot today.
Thank you.
You're in your prime. I just want to let you know you're truly beautiful in every way.
Thank you. You too.
There's no filters. You are just stunning.
I'm quite quiet.
Right now, I'm coming to give you a hug.
Hello.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Are you emotional because you don't always feel it?
Yeah.
You're truly beautiful in
Thank
every
you.
way. I've got to go back in the box.
I honestly love this so much because, you know, we all get in our heads about the way that we look sometimes. I don't know a single person that doesn't ever get in their heads. If that's you, like really and genuinely, I'm so happy for you. But I feel like the vast majority of us do get in our heads about our look sometimes. So just to be like walking through a mall, by a mirror, and have someone give you a compliment and tell you that you're beautiful, like, I think we need more of that in our lives. And I love that e.l.f. did this. I wish they would do it in the US too, because It's just really sweet. I love it. And that, my friend, was what's up in makeup. Top news this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. And thank you, as always, to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you for all of your contributions this week. I appreciate you with my entire heart and soul. Our live chat today will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be hanging out talking about makeup. If you would love to join us live, I would love to have you. But if you can't make it, it's no problem. You can catch it on the replay. Live chat podcast down below in your subscription feed. If you're subscribed, should be just hanging out there. That's the easiest way. Or you can go to my channel page, click on the live tab. They're housed there as well. But if you would like to hang out a little longer because you enjoyed the show, oh my gosh, I would love to have you. Please stay. YouTube should be putting a couple videos for you over here to watch. The bottom one is last week's top news segment. The top one is one YouTube's going to pick out for you special. But if you do have to go because you got stuff to do, I get it. It's no problem at all. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye!